So, okay. So I was able to do a lot of thinking yesterday about things, and I realized that it is very healthy for the cabinet to be meeting once a day. I want to meet at an hour after storm every day. I know not everyone is going to be able to make it, but this is when my mind is the sharpest, and it gives me time in the morning to do shit and then have a meeting and then do shit follow-up. And with our process of, you know, everybody's working in their own sort of areas, when legislation comes out, everyone should be sort of on their own time putting their comments in, and then us reviewing it, you know, in tandem, so that this 3 p.m. meeting is more of like a stand-up, you know, like, and
just touch and base, really.
Touch and base. If there's any like big like conversation points, they can happen on those days. So sometimes, some days it may just be a 15-minute let's get together. Is there any like blockers or anything? And then some days it might be 2 hours if it's like some big piece that we need to speak about.
Gotcha.
And
like blockers there, Nino, is that a Scrum term?
That is exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm actually a you know, I'm a black belt.
Ah.
Yep.
In what?
Scrum.
In Scrum.
The fuck is Scrum?
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know.
Yo, Leading, thank the 11 months.
I'll teach you all about Agile and Scrum sometime.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't worry.
Well, what is it?
We'll start with a white belt.
Well, it's the thing that everybody cries about things being too serious, but is inherently the most
happy 1 year.
Makes everyone's life more productive, less meetings, lets you do more of what you want. But most people that cry about it just don't want to use their brain for like 5 minutes to understand the philosophy. Zelda, thank you for the 1 year. So it's an administrative philosophy or a management.
From manufacturing, didn't it? And I think it got adapted.
Think so.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
I think it was
like
GM who came up with it.
I believe you're right.
Yep.
You'd know that. You're a mechanic.
Yeah, very true.
Right? Yeah.
Let me see. So right now we're just kind of going through the list of things. Archibald is working on the photography thing, and then that's later going to be reduxed into a, well, we're kind of thinking of like, let's call it like combat recorders, right?
Oh, did you want me to do it separate? Because I'd already started it up as the ordinance list is what I was going to go ahead and make.
No, that's exactly what I want. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I meant, so the idea is we want to ensure that the rights of the public for documenting in public is held, and we're going to have those clarities, but then we're going to further expand on it. So to give you an example, right? If there is a crime scene, people should be able to document it, but there's going to be rules around like, or laws around how close they can get. And that's going to protect both them, but also protect the cops, since it's going to be sort of defined.
Sure. Yeah.
We want to then even expand it further, so that those that want to get into potential violent documentation, right, like a gang shooting,
sure,
they're going to need certain gear that identifies them as press. But and that may give them some extra privilege, but also protect cops from dealing with people that like to take a camera and just like stand in the middle of a shootout.
Yeah.
I just realized we're getting ready to gentrify hood news right now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, kind of. So let me see.
Michael, I actually did. I got Solomon Searson, the homeless lawyer, to agree to do a thing for the editorial for the website. So that's one person at least.
Excellent. Yeah. Wyatt is going to do something. Paps is going to do something.
Oh shit! This is great. This will make for a really good Saturday announcement
launch. Yeah.
COP's changing. I'm back to square one, kind of, on a number of for a number of reasons. I'll fill the rest of the folks in, but I am quite simply, I reached a point where I'm going to be looking from the outside. Barrick came to me earlier today. So I'll give you the TLDR.
Sure.
Despite every conversation, Vivian was the best of the worst bucket of apples.
Yeah.
And I've said that a number of times, but long story short, she came and spoke to me and tried to convince me that Ruby was the best Ass Chief option, which is like literally the polar opposite of what we've been.
What we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that coupled with what I read as frantic last choice, she had never fit, and I just didn't see it.
Well, I'm going to be honest, if you don't mind.
Please.
I didn't want to overstep as you were going through the process, but just putting in someone like Vivian in this instance, who's brought up in the culture that is so problematic, I don't think you would have got the level of change you were hoping for. So
yeah,
to me, it's good that you're looking outside. I think that's honestly a better choice.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think that hesitation was always there. But you know, for me, it's this. She was never listening to begin with, and I think the moment she heard "I'm Chief," the rest of it went out the window. So, but I think I spoke to a lot of people yesterday. I spoke to a lot of people yesterday, but I don't want to say out loud who and what.
Sure.
But I got a lot of really good input, and I think we're getting it shored up. I spoke with Barrick also, and he's under the impression that I told him don't do anything, where fundamentally I just told him be careful not to promote someone, because all we know, whoever comes in may just wipe everything.
Yeah.
So he said that he's going to cook and let folks know that any positions may be temporary. So
yeah. Well, speaking of hopefully temporary, did you hear that Bobby Charles is the latest cadet?
Oh, no, I didn't. Where?
Yeah. LSPD.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
He's a lucky son of a bitch. The man almost caught 3 felonies. Robin Ferrara got him out of it somehow by a miracle.
Really?
Yeah, that was. I told you the other day. He ended up getting still in an airplane and flying it over Zancudo like a dumbass.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's gonna be a nice choice.
Yeah. And speaking of Bobby, I do want to clarify when I mentioned getting intimate with a cheese grater. It wasn't Richard that was a waste of time. It was just like, I like letting Bobby know that being around him is a waste of my time. So if you talk to Richard, make sure Richard knows I respect.
Honestly, Carmine's my favorite of the two of them, because I find that if you are super amicable and just agree with Carmine, he doesn't know how to handle it because he's used to people talking shit, and he short circuits, and it's hilarious to me.
I like Carmine.
I like them both, honestly. I'm never going to pass up an opportunity to belittle them. I am often that petty around Bobby and Carmine anyways.
With
Bobby's entertaining.
Yeah, I like them a lot. They're
yeah, I agree.
Their antics, like even like the other day, it brings a lot of flavor, you know, to all the seriousness.
I don't think I've ever walked away from an interaction with either of them like in a bad mood. You know what I mean?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw my commentary on dispensaries, right?
Could you mind let's all collectively look at it real quick. I saw it, but I'm gonna re-look at it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Where?
It's in our email chain, in the general chain.
Wait, you just said sorry, real quick, Tilly. You said 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 3 p.m. Eastern. Hour after storm.
I thought I asked you. I said, "Is that 2 p.m. EST?" And you said, "Yeah."
That might have me. Maybe. Well, let's say 3 p.m.
Isn't 2 p.m. EST an hour after storm?
No, it's 3 p.m.
Oh, okay.
I could probably just add it as a recurring event inside of the email chain if you want to.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I made it clear, and then I may have just did a yes. Fucking bitches in chat.
It's the sorry, which one are we looking at again? It's not the Decriminalization Act, it's another one, right?
No, this is if you look at our general email chain.
Chat is always interesting, you know. If you're like, yeah, I want a blue car, 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 and someone goes, oh, red car, you know, it's pretty natural to be like, yeah. Okay. I know dispensary and grow license legislation is going to be to work soon. Okay. Actually, could you kind of review this with us? Just outline what you wrote up.
Yeah. So, right now, with rolling papers being available from the 24/7s and seemingly, you know, baggies being available on the streets, if people want joints, even with having legal businesses rolling joints, it's probably going to be easier and cheaper for them to get them off the street unless we take away the ability to do that. So if we give either grow shops or dispensaries the ability to make papers or make them the best option for it, like what happened with vending machines, right? The prices got cranked up so much that people had to look elsewhere for it, and that's kind of how the food court took off. If dispensaries could make them and sell them at a price cheaper than the 24/7, then it becomes less of a handicap for them.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. It seems like the joints themselves, though, do not list the strain. So if the joints listed the strain, it would be easier to regulate and enforce. If
I
they
think
don't,
it does.
I've only gotten this
it's
from
got
a handful of people.
It's
So,
I think I know what you mean. Like, it may tell you it's like purple kush, but not what type of purple kush.
exactly.
We could solve that to some extent if branding is an option for the rolling papers. I know back in the day, people used to have joints that looked different, and so maybe they could do it with.
That's
dispensary
not my
joints.
concern, actually.
I thought we said it was the strain that we were going to do it with.
My concern is that, you know, they can brand the paper and the joint however they want, but if we don't know what strain is inside of it, dispensaries could be buying weed off the black market, rolling it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But I think that's okay. Because the way I see it is there are certainly going to be grow houses and there is going to be dispensaries that will do things the right way, and then some that are going to do it illegally. And those that do it illegally, we have to make sure the regulations allow for, you know, law enforcement to come in and kind of like,
so on.
Exactly. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So like, for example, I think one of the regulatory ways that we're going to go about doing things is like grow houses and dispensaries are going to have high levels of auditing. So like, they're going to have to say, hey, we moved this to there. Like, we bought this from this grow place.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, if there's like a mismatch for shit, you know, that's where, you know, people, they can start, you know, investigating.
The balance sheet has to balance. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure you've already thought about the number of licenses you're going to give out. Just from what I've looked at, I don't know that the city can really support more than 3 dispensaries, but that was really just a high level
agree.
thought.
I 1,000% agree.
Yeah.
Is that I think we capped 3 and 3, but we slow roll them out. And I'm even thinking that they got to auction.
That's
the
a really
medallion.
good idea. That's a really, really good idea.
We auction out one grow and one other thing, and that way they get steam, and then the next one gets auctioned.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I guess the only caution would be.
Could you take notes, by the way, Tilly?
Yeah.
If two
got you.
medallions potentially fall into the same circle of influence, I don't know if that's problematic, but it is something that could potentially happen.
That is restricted. Is the individual grows and the individual dispensaries cannot be owned. There should be some regulation that allows for business to business, but no what's the word? Like, there's a word for it. Not capitalization. The
vertical integration?
No, like there cannot be a
like a monopoly
Capitalism?
on the industry.
Monopoly is the closest, but
I know
me-
what you mean.
yeah.
Like a conglomerate,
Oligopoly?
basically.
no, like one circle should not be owning both. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there may need to be some heavy like employment details, like
Yeah. And then the last one is the real estate consideration, where
Yep.
I don't know if you want to require grow operations to have a warehouse. I think dispensaries, it should be required that they have commercial space.
Mhm.
The problem being that it seems like, everyone and their brother owns commercial space without a business license and is running like a vegetable farm out of it. So
I think we do that, and then as a starting point,
Mhm.
and then as a starting point, we should put that in there. But then separately, we're gonna want to tackle all these, let's say, unregulated properties.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice if we had some indication at the federal level if more properties were going to be coming available, but I that doesn't really solve the secondary problem of these properties being misused. Honestly, I think the stupidest thing to happen in the last 3 months was that applying for a business required you to already own a property, because how many businesses
it's
that
so
got declined?
Yep.
Oh, I think of all the declines that now own commercial property because Max decided he didn't want to approve their business. I feel like it's handcuffing the entire sector. It's stupid.
Do we want to, since this is supposed to be like a controlled substance we're talking about here, do we want to like basically pick out a couple of places for buildings and assign them to people once they get the medallions?
Well, I think it needs to be just broken down by region. There should be like a West dispensary, a Central dispensary, and an Eastern dispensary. With
I think
Nino
that
wanting to
would be
stagger it.
ideal, but I think
Yeah.
that level of intricacy would be very difficult. I think it put too
Yeah.
much of a like I think we leave it up to the entrepreneurs to solve that themselves, because if they decide to all go in one plaza, that's on them, you know?
Well, that's
Fair
the
enough,
other
yeah.
thing I was gonna say. If you own a commercial space and you're at the auction for Medallion 2 and your commercial space is right next door, you're probably not gonna bid on it realistically.
Absolutely.
So let the market sort it out. I think that works fine. And that was really it. That was the preliminary thoughts I had on that. I saw the cock legislation got pushed forward. Did that get passed yet, or is that at the 3-day review stage?
Literally the only thing that they haven't, DOJ hasn't touched anything since Sunday, it looks like.
Okay.
So even the weed legislation, it should be passed, but there hasn't been an update on it. So hopefully we'll see some movement today. But I did talk to Justice Angel,
Yep.
and I spoke to Justice Angel, and I brought up like, okay, well, this is what we want to do, but it's gonna get, it kind of conflicts with the new drug laws, the state one. And the way she said she'd speak with the other justices, but in order to better have that conversation. We should put our legislation together for the grow ops and the dispensaries so that that conversation can circle around how to make that possible.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I really like this. It was consolidation. There's another word. It's like capitalization or something. It's not capitalization. It's like, fuck. But anyways, we don't want it to have consolidation of grow houses and dispensaries. Capitalization.
Yeah, we definitely do not want them having the entire production line. That's just going to present problems.
Absolutely.
The last thing I had is update on the website. I don't know if you've looked at it recently, but it's in a really good spot right now. All the legislation is up there. I have to finish the departments section.
Where's the website? What's the
Los Santos, LOSSANTOS.me. So all the legislation from the MDT is up there, as well as I believe all the draft legislation. I have some announcements in there.
I would make a note at the top of this is that this is a reference.
And the final is in the MDT.
Correct. Yeah. Just so, you know,
like
someone's
a disclaimer.
Yep.
100%. 100%. I did the Chamber of Commerce department page. I think that's going to get built out as Eve kind of finishes structuring and employing that section. So I have 3 other department sections to fill out. I have a little bit of tidying and cleaning up to do, and then I'm going to add a contact page. Most of it's going to be, if you'd like to speak to someone in the city cabinet, contact Tilly. And then I'd say we're pretty well launch ready, unless there are any low-hanging fruit you want added to it, you know?
This looks really good. This is really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. A lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm this is gonna bring any progress on like a GPS thingy?
So I did I tell you I found a tool that can do exactly what we needed to do?
Oh my god, no.
Yeah. I found it on GitHub.
Could you explain to everybody what it is?
So the plan is to take a high resolution image of Los Santos County, and we'll be able to drop pins for registered legal businesses on the map and have it something that's filterable and interactive from the website. So in place of being able to do something on our map, on our GPS, we can at least do it through the website. And that was something that Nino and I had talked about potentially charging over and above for. So you pay to register your business, then pay to have a pin on the site. And I guess I'll dovetail off of that to also talk about advertising space on the site. We're going to have basically weekly ad slots. So a business can pay a set amount for a week. And Archibald, you mentioned different tiers. So maybe 15 grand, 20 grand a week for an image, 50 grand for like an animated GIF type thing. Or if they want to do like a video announcement, we could ramp it up from there. But just generating revenue for the state in other ways. And the 3 businesses I've talked to have basically said, here's a blank check.
I'm
Let us
gonna
know when it's
send
ready.
you something. I'm gonna send you something.
Sure. But
dude, this is gonna be so
honestly,
sick.
I've had very, very preliminary discussions about this. And every business I've talked to is like, fuck yeah, let's go. The city needs this website so badly. So
yeah,
it's very well received.
That is fucking amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited. I think you know,
if you go to the site that I just posted in the general, it's actually an interactive map, and if you get pro on it, which I don't know how much pro costs or what it does, but you can actually put your own little pins
you can make your own
down.
filters.
Oh yeah, I've used that website before.
I've
Yeah.
used it as well.
Yeah.
The thing I don't know is if I can
integrate
embed
it.
this into, exactly.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't integrate it, but I don't know
Yeah.
if you could integrate it regardless.
Yep. I think this is gonna be fucking fire.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like you can embed it.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I mean this can work too.
Yeah, I'd say whatever you find to be the most
intuitive
appropriate.
and easy
Yeah.
as well too, though, right? Keeping in mind that I think you as well, Nino, would like to see this kind of last the test of time. I'm
Yep.
trying to be cognizant of how I build things so someone with less technical skill can manage it. You know what
Agreed. 1,000%.
Yeah.
You okay?
I want Tilly to be able to take over at some point.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yep.
what do you mean?
The website.
Oh, you want me to take over the website?
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I could do that. I've never took over a website before.
He's saying like eventually, Tilly. He's saying like he wants to get it to a place where like anyone could take it over and know how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, I could. Yeah, we could do that.
Yep. All right.
But yeah, we're in good shape. Archibald, you and I should talk at some point with Eve kind of formalizing legislation to make the COC like an official department recognized by the state. I think we should probably do the same with the communication side.
Sounds good. I'll have some insight into that too, because where I worked with Even Aegis, a lot of our stuff was just going in and actually doing research on businesses and actually making sure they're following guidelines. So I can help some with that.
Yeah, I just think that makes sense.
Well, I mean, that's what the COC document's going to kind of do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that should be out soonage. One thing that is, I was going to bring this up when everyone's here, is that we've got these silos, right? And the COC is kind of a managing body in the long term. But that does not mean that anyone that is not directly working in it cannot work on any of the legislation. At the end of the day, the cabinet is the cabinet, and, you know, it's a very flat. On the outside, there is a structure to it, but internal to the cabinet, it's a flat structure. So if even Tilly, let's say, who doesn't work at the COC, wanted to work on legislation for it, we do that. And this is inherently to make sure we're always making forward progress, and there's no, we don't create artificial blockers.
Artificial blockers.
Yeah, like in other words, like everything ends up in like one person's hand, and we gotta wait on them. You know.
I'll do legislation.
Like the business application, you mean, where the entire thing was centralized around Max.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm really good at legislation.
I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, finally, I did also talk to Angel in regards to like the FOIA thing, because the what was it? The civilian profile FOIA legislation got denied as it went against the Constitution, and specifically what was called out was that it was a internal document. So I asked her, like, okay, well, we kind of disagree with that, and how do we go about challenging it? And the answer is that we, just like other bodies in Los Santos, can actually spend $50,000 and file a hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
So that I think we're gonna go down that route. I'm gonna wait till Abeline's around to help create that conversation.
Yeah, fair. Feel free to pull me in on that too if you need.
1,000%. I'll make sure you're in there as well. And I think this is gonna be a very good learning lesson for us, because, you know, there's gonna be a lot of back and forth. I mean, right? We're gonna be pushing a lot. They're gonna push back. We're gonna challenge it. It's a new system, so.
Yeah.
Oh, finally, PD, for whatever reason, is still holding down the hospital, which I saw today, and that kind of triggered me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, fucking BCSO was down there, and they were like asking for people's
Wait, for
IDs.
people to come... Oh, Jesus
and when
Christ.
I was like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Oh no, we're actually only asking them to take off their mask, but it's like under what grounds?"
Well, that's what that announcement was earlier. Okay.
Yep. So I kind of
Lord.
sent that out, but I'm gonna talk to Cantor about it, because I don't know why that's happening exactly. It's kind of weird.
It's a privacy breach, no? HIPAA?
Oh, I don't... We have do we even have that anymore? We had a...
We don't have a
privacy
map.
thing.
Oh, HIPAA? I think it's under the medical thing. Oh wait, I can tell you. I put everything in Obsidian. Wait, HIPAA? Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
There it is. Yeah, we got PIPA, Patient Information Privacy Protection.
Which
Yeah, PIPA.
document?
It's actually, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the actual legislation in the MDT.
Where?
Patient Information Privacy Protection Act, HIPAA.
It's between the judicial election process and powers and definition law enforcement.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
I don't know if asking people to take their masks off would violate this or not, though. I'd
Well,
have to
I
read
mean,
through it more.
well, why would anyone have to inherently take off their mask?
Yeah,
right
no,
now?
no, they've got no actual justification to do it without some form of RS to start off with.
Precisely. And, you know, someone did bring up, well, maybe it can be seen as a lawful order, but the thing is, a lawful order inherently requires RS for a crime to have occurred to begin with.
Yeah.
I think a lot of officers genuinely do not understand lawful. Oh my God, the Lawful Order Act.
You cooking?
I actually think we should pass legislation for defining exactly what a lawful order is under Los Santos County, because these bozos genuinely do not understand that lawful orders require very specific circumstances. Otherwise, you could just be like, you know, pull your pants down. That's a lawful order.
Yeah, gotcha on that.
And that kind of argument will be like, well, that doesn't count. And it's like, okay, well, can you explain?
Yeah, what does that?
Drooling face. Fucking bozos.
I would definitely say lean on Abilene more for that one. I have not interacted with the police very much, so I don't know if I'd have the expertise at all to get in on that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh my
mean,
God, that's a real good one.
Just not a lawyer, keep this in mind, but looking at the Constitution in Article 3, and unless there is a state, you know, mask restriction, I would say that wearing a mask would fall under free speech.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, so
I can use so many of these. Right to free speech, right to dignity, right to health and protection of others. All of those can be
Privacy.
used to justify a mask. Yeah,
yeah, honestly,
it's not difficult at all.
So I mean, without RS, they literally have, you know, that the person could tell them to fuck off, and there's not a thing a cop could do about it. Let's be real here.
I love it. And that actually reminds me of two pieces of legislation I had promised. The first is something that allows, that defines when a mask is a face.
Would this be for the clowns
Yeah, I
by
was about to
chance?
say. There are other people than the clowns, though. I've seen
Yeah,
a couple of
true.
people, like one guy
Yeah.
who wore a wolf mask all the time and identified with it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
And
they
so
have to
we'll-
like register? They would just have
Yeah,
to.
That's
it would have to be
exactly
register
it. That's exactly it. There should be a registration process. Something where like they get clearance from like maybe a doctor or something. We can work with the health services on it. And then they like register the face.
That's something we could potentially use to help legitimize the psych people.
Oh,
Yep.
I love it. Can you add that thought to the card I just added to do? I said
All right.
law that defines when a mask is a face. Then there's the NVL Act. The necessary violence law that protects individuals from defending themselves by all means if they are in immediate and present danger.
Pardon my ignorance, but does that basically just take stand your ground further and expand upon it, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And this law came because there was a lawyer that picked up a gun to defend himself, and he got charged with everything, even though very obviously he was defending himself.
Was the gun not his or something like
Yeah,
that?
he took
They
he
charged
took
him with
the
possession
cops
or
like
something?
surrounded him,
Yeah.
didn't do anything, and then we're like, you did something illegal for him taking a gun off of one of his clients and using it. Like it's so it's like the definition of like malicious prosecution, bad faith prosecution.
Yeah.
Like it's so like, oh, I hate these cops so much. I'm like, anytime, like this is why I'm so glad I decided against this. They're bozos.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that was Moose Knuckles from a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, Moose Knuckles. That guy got fucked. Like
He did,
you would
yeah.
think there would have been. His condition was, he was there, gang shooting. Cops circled it, didn't do anything. He took the gun off someone who was shooting to protect himself. He didn't even fire the gun. Where the gun came from, the guy was GSR positive. The guy claimed it was his gun, and Moose Knuckles got a felony and like all the charges associated with the gun. It's just so disgusting.
That's mind-boggling.
But the thing is, like, these like robots are fucking programmed like, well, according to the law. It's like, no, that's why there's officer discretion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goddamn rules lawyers.
Mm-hmm. So,
Funnily, that wouldn't be a bad thing for them to be such sticklers if they actually knew what the hell they were talking about half the time.
yeah, very true.
And then we have someone cooking on the lottery legislation as well, I'm assuming, Nino.
Oh, let me write that down. That is something someone's gonna have to work on.
You okay there,
Honestly,
Charlie?
yeah, that's.
I would be okay with us forcing a lottery to be registered with the state. I think that should be registered.
Who was that guy that was supposed to be helping us with materials and then started bitching out about it with the blue hair?
Chris King?
Yeah, I think he's running a lottery right now.
Sucks for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. That's your cue, Tilly,
Wait, my cue for what?
for saying that sucks.
Oh, that sucks.
Nice.
They don't get it. They don't
Yeah.
get the joke. They're not involved. They have no idea even what's going on. So you just, you kind of
Yeah, I think cooking up how a state-run lottery works, but also allowing independent lotteries to function, but they should be registered and have guidelines so people don't get scammed. I mean, they could get scammed, but that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
I
would
could
you guys
probably
be offended if I came up to you and would you be just a question, right? Would you get offended if or do you think it's wrong if someone comes up to you and then they go I'm bored, and you respond with, oh, that sucks? Is that rude of someone to say?
Depends on the context.
That's the context.
No, it does depend on the context.
On
not
what?
enough
There
context.
has to be more than just that.
Is it
simple
just a random
phraseology.
person coming up and saying that sucks?
Yeah,
or...
do you
No,
know
say
them?
I came up to you and was like, hey, I'm bored, and you responded with, oh yeah, that sucks. Is that rude of someone to say?
What's the tone of voice? Like am
oh,
I
that
am
sucks.
I going that sucks, or am I like, well, that sucks?
No, it's like, that sucks.
I'm gonna be honest. If all you say is that sucks, you're kind of holding the person conversationally hostage at that point. You're really not giving them anything. It sounds like they were trying to strike up a conversation, and you were just like,
You're a little bit rude in that regard, but if you're
Yeah.
actually any good at comedy, you could pull it off as a joke, but you got to actually be funny for that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
What the fuck? What do you mean you have to actually be funny for that? You guys don't think I'm
mean,
funny?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we talking about you?
I thought this was hypothetical.
Yeah, it was hypothetical.
This is silly.
It was about her.
I
guess so.
yeah,
that
she's
sucks.
in La La Land. Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to hit on?
No,
good
we're
at the
good.
moment.
Okay. Good shit. I like this. This is productive. 30,
Yeah, I
27
agree.
minutes. Look at that.
Crushing
Yeah,
it.
not bad. Not
Easy.
Bad.
All right. Let me
Okay,
know if you
got
guys
my
need
number,
anything.
Nino. Yeah,
All right.
same thing. Likewise. Take
All
care.
right. Y'all
Sounds
take
good.
care.